session. So welcome, 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 welcome to each and everyone across the globe. Let me just see in the chat where people are from. You can just go ahead and drop in the chat where you're from. We'd love to know where each and every person is actually calling in from. Feel free to participate. This is a no mask, no sanitation zone. All right, you don't need any form of sanitation required to participate in here. All right, we know that there are many other places you could actually be. You know, a lot of good things are going to be coming out of this meeting today. There are things you could be doing, but you have chosen to spend some time with us, and we do appreciate it. Time, as we discussed in our previous webinar, is a non-reusable resource. And so when we appreciate you taking your time to spend with us today, we appreciate the time that you've taken out, and we hope that you'll find some value in the information. See, life is really governed by rules, and our seminar is no different, all right? As we will be discussing life principles, I want you to keep your mic on mute for us whenever you're not speaking, all right? Go ahead, post your questions in the chat box, even the silly ones, right? And you can always raise your hand if you have a burning question you wish to get addressed. I am no theologian, and that will be apparent, but most of the references used tonight will be from the Bible and the Jamaican legislation and the book Perpetual Wealth. So while we go through this, you can go ahead, feel free to raise your hand when you have a question. Be respectful in your feedback, and we're really, really looking forward to sharing this information. It is our hope that each and everyone will learn and laugh much on this session. If you take the L out of the word learn, what do you get? You get earn. So we hope also that in learning, you will get the opportunity to earn as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to really, 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 really laugh and just enjoy yourself. That's something that we don't do a lot of anymore. We stress out so much. This is not going to be that type of a webinar. We're going to have fun. We're going to be looking at some information, however, that can transform your life if you just listen and apply, all right? So just to let you know, the webinar is being streamed live to Facebook. So I want to welcome to all our guests watching on Facebook. You'll also find it posted afterwards on YouTube. You'll be able to find it on YouTube by searching Building Generational Wealth. Feel free while you're there to post your comments, like and share it with your family and your friends. And ladies and gentlemen, your health is your wealth. So I do hope you're keeping a healthy mind and body by drinking your water and eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Let's stay healthy and pursue generational wealth together. Remember, the first word in wealth is what?
We.
There you go. I saw some people saying it, but their mics are muted, right? So the first word in wealth is we. You get the prize, Magda, all right? So this week, 3 of a 4-part webinar series on building generational wealth. And today's discussion will be around annuities. See, the question is, do you have your own personal and generational wealth income plan, right? I have to ask that question. See, we all have years of experience in this industry of financial services, right? We are licensed financial sales representatives. Together, we have over 48 years of experience on this call. So guys, you're going to really, really get to enjoy this conversation with people like myself, like Magdalena Cooper the News and Lynette Brown, where you now will get some fantastic information. And I'm going to be sharing with you this very key thing as your host. I'll be your host today, and my name is Mark with a C. Blake, your personal financial guide on your journey in building generational wealth. And I am joined by my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandra Casmore. Thank you for joining us again, those who were here last week and the week before, and those who are joining for the first time, welcome. I'm the partner and administrator for Milestones and Lifestyle Planning, and I'm also the co-author of our ebook, Oops, I Forgot to Save for Retirement, which is now available for purchase on Amazon. With that, I'll now turn you over to our esteemed presenter, Magdalena Cooper, the news.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much. Hi, Mark. Hi, Lynette. Hi, everybody. It's just good to be back again this week. I hope you're hearing me quite well because I'm getting some internet messages on my laptop. So, my name is Magdalena Cooper, the news, and I have been in the industry for 30, going on 35 years, and in the life insurance industry, and I've really enjoyed every bit of it. And I'm also a co-author of the book from Milestones, Oops, I Forgot to Save for Retirement. That book really talks a lot about the Jamaican aspect of retirement financial and lifestyle planning. And as Sandra said, it's available on Amazon. The reason we did that book was that we found that a lot of people in Jamaica didn't understand, they knew the word pension, but they didn't understand what it was all about. So that's the reason why we wrote that book. So welcome everybody. Looking forward to sharing and enjoying this webinar. Over to you. Next, Lynette.
Hi, everyone. I hope that we're all well. And in a role reversal this week, I am co-presenting this topic on annuities. It's my pleasure, and I look forward to sharing this with you. I am a financial advisor, and yes, I'm also licensed by the Financial Services Commission in order to do this. Thank you for joining us, and do have a good time.
All right, great. So welcome to my like Sandra said, my esteemed presenters. Listen, you know, Magdalena and Cooper and I go way back. She's my mentor. She feels like another mother to me, but only the financial mother. Maybe I have, hey, you know what? I just came up with an idea. You have rich dad, poor dad. You have, you know, let me not go there. So for those of you joining us for the first time today, this is again our third webinar. If you have not already done so, visit our YouTube page and watch last week's webinar where we discussed the importance of understanding your pay slip, right? Which was accompanied by a budgeting software that was given away for free. Did I say free, guys? Yes, free. We will indeed help you to understand your pay slip by taking into consideration the Jamaican tax laws as it relates to your statutory taxes and things of that nature, all right? It's Proverbs 29:18 that states, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you have a vision statement or a mission statement for yourself? See, I would encourage you to take some notes. See, the faintest ink is more powerful than the strongest memory. It's going to be very important that you write down your own personal vision and mission statement, which will be the foundation for the family's building generational wealth, vision, and mission statements. See, when you're on an aircraft, in the event of the deployment of the oxygen masks, the pilot will instruct you to place the mask on yourself first, right? Before you assist others. You may ask, why is that? Well, that is because you must learn to lead and follow instructions for yourself before you can look to leading others. It has to start with you. Yes, you who are on the webinar tonight. See, there is a very magical thing that happens when you take what's in your mind out and put it on paper. Well, you see, what was in the non-physical now is manifested in the physical world when you translate your thoughts into words, both verbally or in writing. So what is a personal and family vision and mission statement? Well, I thought you'd never ask. Your vision statement, guys, can be just one sentence, right? It should be inspirational, it should be clear, memorable, and concise. See, your family vision should capture everything that the family wants to be. So now that's the vision, where do you see yourself and the family going? But the mission statement is the how you're going to get there. What steps will you take to actually get there? Now, again, it's one thing to write it down. It's another to actually put those things into action. See, doing the things necessary in the mission statement is proof that you actually believe in your vision. See, without the action, do you really believe that which it is you have written down? So you can think it, but if you don't go out and do it, do you really believe what you're thinking? Right? So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And it's very important that we stop and identify this. All right? So we're going to be looking at a sample family vision. Well, here are a few examples of a sample vision statement. See, what does the Bible actually say about vision statements? In Habakkuk, it says 2, verse 2, it says, write the vision, make it plain on tablets so he may run forth who reads it. Also consider this, Proverbs 13:22. First part says, a good man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. See, the Bible has been teaching us these principles from day one, ladies and gentlemen, right? Here's a sample of a family vision statement. We will keep moving forward. We will keep moving forward. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. You have to have the will to keep moving forward. You have to will yourself. Remember, I said you have to put the action in place. You have to will yourself to keep moving forward. We will be joyful adventurers into forgiveness. We will choose joy. And you're going to see why choosing joy is going to be very, very, very important as we move on into this presentation. We are overcomers. We will shine God's light and love. All right? And you can see we're going to have references in that. And when you visit our Facebook page, you can see all of this over again. So you can take your notes, get your references, and go ahead and do these, do the research on these for yourself. All right? So next, a list of 7 helpful questions to discuss with your family. See, the next time you sit down and have your family meeting, here are a few questions you could ask. You ask these questions to craft your very own family mission statement. What is the purpose of your family, right? Do you even ask these questions when you decided to create your family? Remember how God did the creation. He had to speak the words, let there be. The word, ladies and gentlemen, you have to speak these things. What kind of family do you want to be? What kind of home would you like to invite your friends to? I joke about this with my children all the time. This one is dear to me because when I'm walking past my children's room and I look inside, they already closed the door. They know what I'm going to say. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Guys, clean up your room. Remember, spread your bed. Pick that up, right? You have to have a clear mind. Your environment, as we will speak later, is a reflection of what's in your mind, right? What do we want to be remembered by? This is going to be an interactive webinar, guys. So as we're discussing these things, write your own questions down. Post them in the chat so we can read them and we can share, all right? What kind of relationships do we have to have with one another, right? What are our responsibilities as family members? We got to have responsibilities. We must have clearly defined responsibilities. What families inspire us and why do we admire them? Remember, in order for you to get to where you want to go, you must identify someone who has been there so you can actually get there, right? And you're going to have to speak with them. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this. There are 2 ways to learn in life. You can learn by your own experiences, or you can learn from the experiences of others. I would suggest get in touch with someone who you admire, pick their brain, spend some money and take them out to dinner. Trust me, the information you're going to get is priceless. It's worth way more than the dinner. You can find the references there as well. All right. We're going to be quoting and reading, and a lot of the principles and ideas come from the book Perpetual Wealth. And you can find these helpful questions on page 180. All right. Now, here are a few examples of the family's mission statement. See, I really like this one, creating an environment where each of us can find support and encouragement in achieving our life's goals. Respect and accept each person's unique personality and talents. You know, you must have a mutual respect in your family. If your children don't respect you and you don't respect your children, how are you going to be able to give and get support? See, in order for you to really give and get support, you must have respect. And you must be able to encourage one another, right? And that's how you're ultimately going to be able to achieve a lot of your goals. Promote a loving, kind, and happy atmosphere. All right. So our family mission statement. Here are a couple. Support family endeavors that better society. Maintain patience through understanding. Always resolve conflicts with each other rather than harboring anger. Let me stop on that one. You know what my mother used to always say to me? She always says, Mark, never go to bed angry or upset with your wife. I had to really, I can say in my recent years, I had to really understand what that meant. Harboring anger. See, it festers, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't speak and resolve conflicts, it festers. I remember Oprah Winfrey doing this thing one time, Nicole. She actually held up a glass of water and she held it out. It's a little tiny glass of water and she held it out. Do you know what happened, Sandra? She just asked, how long do you think you can hold that glass out there? It's a little glass of water. But the longer you held it out there, guess what happened, my dog? It started to get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. You try it. Take a little small glass of water and just hold it out there. It's going to get so heavy, you're going to have to put it down, right? And that's kind of what happens when you harbor, you leave things and you harbor a lot of, leave conflicts left unresolved. You harbor a lot of anger. Promote the realization of life's treasures. And again, you can find that in the Perpetual Wealth book. All right?
Mark,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know if any of the attendees or participants want to make any comments on the vision or family mission statements that we've done that you've read so far. And if anybody has been applying any of these at all, I wonder if we shouldn't ask that question.
Sure.
Anybody?
Why not?
Anybody? Sure. Are we shy again today? We're not saying anything? Anybody's got their hand up, Sandra? No reactions? No reactions from anybody? No. Okay, so that means, so is it that we have a group of attendees who are very good at family vision and mission statements? If everybody says so, then put let's put 1 into the chat room.
Put a 111.
111. All right. Is anybody finding this useful? Go ahead, Mark.
You know what I realized, Magda, I think I thought about it just today. I was, reflecting on our conversation or our talk today. And as I was going through the PowerPoints again and I came back up on the mission and the vision statement, I remembered a conversation we were having. Nicole, I was saying to myself, how many families actually treat their families like they treat their businesses? Because I know you would not start a business without a mission and a vision statement. And if you did, certainly you're not looking for that business to be very productive or be very efficient. Because you must have a vision for the business. You must have a mission. Why is it that we don't treat our own personal lives and our own personal business just the same? Why don't we have a mission statement and a vision? And I might even say this, Lynette, we as advisors need to also have that mission and vision statement for our business.
Critical.
What do we envision? See,
Yeah.
Seeing, listen to this, seeing without vision.
Yes.
You still can see, your eyes, you still have the ability to see, but you have no vision. You can't really see down the line. You have not put any missions for you to accomplish to get to the goal. Why don't we do that for our families and in our personal lives? I don't know, Magda. That's why we're having this conversation. We're trying to explain and share with people that these things are important, and it is a must to have generational wealth.
Yes. So nobody has put up their hand so far?
No, no one.
No one? Okay, continue, Mark.
All right.
Be mindful of the time.
Right. So Sandra, I see we have well over, how much is that? How many people do we have on the call?
28 participants
We have 29, we have about 29, 30 people on the call, right?
Yeah.
And this is our third webinar. Why do you think we have so many attendees on the call tonight? Is it because our guests actually now understand the connection between budgeting, their gross income, and understanding their payslip, right? I don't know. What do you think, Sandra?
I have no idea, but you're putting some possible answers there.
Yeah.
But maybe our participants, any of you want to just tell us why you decided to come back? We'd really like to know.
Good idea.
Just write in the chat, or you can unmute your mic and just let us know. The chat is probably quicker though.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
This is Vivian.
Vivian Miles.
Yes.
Yes.
The reason I am intrigued by this webinar is because one, Mark makes it seems possible for one to gain wealth.
Yeah.
I want to gain wealth. I'm eager to learn.
Yes.
I'm eager to learn and grasp everything.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Vivian, one thing I came to realize about wealth is that it's equally attainable to us all, because God has endowed us with the same brain, the same hands, the same feet, the same eyes, the same mouth. What I came to realize is that wealth is really a mindset.
Yes.
And all of us have access to that same great force that God gives us all. And that is the ability to think. If we can think, we can create wealth. As a man thinketh, so is he. You can actually create the environment and the reality around you by your 5 senses. What you see, what you hear, and what you speak. That's how things become real, right? You have to hear it, you have to see it, and you have to speak it. And if you do that, I guarantee you,
yes,
it's just a figment of your imagination. All right? So keep in mind that this webinar is done on the principle of what? Love. See, there are 2 types of emotions that govern us all. That really governs all our decisions. Love is understanding, and fear is the lack of understanding. See, both emotions are really, really strong and can motivate you. Fear can motivate you. Love can motivate you. But that feeling of love is a positive vibration on a whole nother level. And when we get with love, when we have love for God, when we have love for yourself, and you have love for others as you love yourself, I can tell you this, you have nowhere else to go but in that place of joy and blissfulness. See, I'll write this down if you're taking notes. Write this down. The formula for success is desire plus skills multiplied by faith. So your desire to plan for your own personal wealth, enjoy your wealth, and manage your wealth and preserve it is how you're going to actually see generations succeed beyond you. You must be able to share that type of love with others. See, being a good steward of the inheritance is how you're going to actually stay employed, right? I like to use the term deployed. Deployed in the sense that you know, with an inheritance, if you're a good steward, you get to go out and enjoy and live your life. Now, when you work, you're not working for pay. You're not working for an income so that you can put food on the table, but instead, you are working because that is what God has called you to do. That is because you've found your talents and your skills that you can utilize to become more valuable to the marketplace. And so what you're doing is not out of a necessity. It's because you love what you do. See, an inheritance is a foundation of generational financial wealth, and we have to learn how to manage it. The key to a successful inheritance is this. Founders must pass on a legacy more than money. It is important to note that a legacy is not simply just money, but more even importantly, it is the vision and mission of the family which should outlive its founders. All right?
So, Mark, before you go on, there were some responses to the question about why people decided to join the webinar this evening. So Keisha Shirley had said, basically it's because our poor middle-class parents, didn't teach us about managing money, making money, and or investing money. And she said this webinar is great stuff for them to learn. It's never too late for a shower of rain.
Yes, nice. Yes.
Right, which
Awesome.
I thought was a nice thought.
Yes, that's absolutely fantastic. And you know, again, we would have to probably do another webinar series, guys, on just that topic alone. You know, the education of as to how we've been brought up, the things we've been taught, how we've been programmed from birth. Guys, I've been told a lot of things about money. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? But money is made out of what? What is money made out of? It's made out of trees, right? It's made out of paper. Money does grow on trees. That's not true, right? There's so many things that they've told us about money that's just wrong. And it's been programmed in our minds, right? I can reel them off for you and you can pretty much complete my sentence. But let's not go down that line. So if you're single and have children, minors and or adults, ensure that you establish a personal and generational wealth building plan and communicate it with them. See, even just last night, again, while I was going over this, I was having a discussion with my wife about this very next point. If you're single and planning on marriage, consider prenuptial. Now, this might be an area of contention for a lot of people, but I can tell you this. The reason why we probably don't think about this prenuptial is because we're probably going into the marriage with no inheritance. We're probably going into the marriage with nothing to protect. And so we get into the marriage, and then after we've accumulated things, we then think, oh, okay, but what if you're getting married into a family that, let's say, for instance, had suppose I was worth $100 million. You know, my wife would say, yeah, but Mark, you're getting married to me. What's yours is mine, right? She'll also say, for richer or for poorer, right? But you have to think deeper than that, guys. You have to say to yourself, none of us get into marriages thinking that it's going to break up. I mean, sometimes things just don't work out. Now, it's not so much that you want to protect it from your wife, but think about your generations to come. Think about the fact that my daughters will have this inheritance passed down to them that my great-great-great-grandparents have been working for a long time. And now they're in possession of that. Do we want that to just be squandered away or given away? Guys, it is not about being selfish. It's about being good stewards of what it is you've been blessed with. All right. So we could go down a long road with that one. So remember, managing an inheritance and building personal wealth is for your enjoyment, and it is actually to create a generational wealth plan. All right. Allow love, forgiveness, and reconciliation to become your primary principles for building healthy family relationships. Now, guys, I'm sure that you all thought that I forgot about the payslip homework, right? Magdalena Cooper will always give you some homework. That is how you're actually going to let these things stick. How many of you actually found your old and 2020 year-to-date payslips? Let me see it in the chat. How many of you actually went and found your payslips? Did anyone create a filing system for your payslips? Did you try to calculate your payslip deductions to ensure that it's correct? See, if you found an error, did you actually go back to your company accounts or payroll department to resolve it? The error, resolve the error. But you have to, when doing that, apply a loving relationship principle. All right, guys? Now, I'm going to move forward. Everyone should have received the budget guide, all right? The Excel spreadsheet that we actually shared. See, budgeting is very, very important in you ending up where you want to be financially. See, I say all the time, you don't need more money, guys. Listen to me. You don't need more money. You need more skills. See, budgeting is a skill. When you have it on paper, when you can visualize these things, you can actually reach out for success. Visualizing is a premise for success. Here's what it does. It gives you confidence. Visualizing allows you to see the end in your current situation. If your current situation is where you don't have enough, and you keep concentrating on not having enough, and that's all you're thinking about, then you're not going to have enough. But let's start budgeting for what you do have. And let me take this a step further, Magda. I'm going to speed this up in the essence of time. Suppose now, instead of budgeting for what you have, you budget for what you desire. And instead of putting 100,000 or 50,000 or 20,000, you start putting 300,000 or 400 and practice budgeting for that. Just an idea, guys, just an idea. How many of you have decided to allocate a specific weekly day or time for actually updating your spreadsheet? See, that's very important. It's also important that you speak with your budget, with your spouse if you're married, right? Make it a date night. So we also spoke about the generational profile. Do you remember which profile you fell in? All right, you can drop it in the chat so we can know the demographic of the people we have on the call. So now I'm actually going to pause right here to bring up my esteemed presenter and co-presenter, Lynette Brown, and the one and only Magdalena Cooper, the News, to take us further into this idea about annuities, time and money principles. I turn it over to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody who is on the program this evening. I just need to bring up my slide share so that I can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear.
All right, so that I can share my slide, or are you gonna do it for me, Mark? Okay, all right, fine. All right, so I can go ahead now. So is everybody seeing my slide or not? Yes, so it's up. All right, so today we're going to be talking about annuities, and it's a fundamental principle that most people never get an opportunity to speak about, and it's later time myself who are going to deal with it. I'm going to do some intro parts, and then Lynette will take over. So annuity.
They're not seeing your screen though. If you're meant to share, we're not seeing your screen now.
You're not seeing my screen? Okay, let me see what's happening here. Why you're not seeing my screen? My apologies. Oh, yeah, see it here? It's right here, yes. Okay. Thank you for telling me you're not seeing my screen. Hi, Paulie, good to see you. Hi, Earl Thompson, good to see you. Is everybody seeing my screen now or not yet? Everybody seeing my screen?
I'm seeing you.
Yes.
Thanks for welcoming.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we're seeing it now, Max.
Yes, good to see you all. Okay, so let me just bring it up as a slideshow into PowerPoint. So, um, forgive me about this. So annuity options available in Jamaica. What most of us don't realize is that NIS, Superannuation Fund retirement schemes, actually pay a benefit in the form of an annuity. You might say, oh, NIS, oh yes it does, because if they didn't do annuities, they couldn't manage the payments until you die. So it's very important to understand that. And we're going to look at annuity options available in Jamaica, and or I should really say the plans available in Jamaica, both in Jamaican dollars and US dollar annuities, unless it's going to speak to US dollar annuities. So let's look at tracking your NIS deductions and your ASF, your Superannuation Fund retirement schemes, and your statements, which provide info on the accumulated annuity benefit at any point in time. Now, what this is saying is, this is another good reason why you have to keep your pay slip. Because if you don't keep your pay slip, you won't be able to get this information. You won't be able to go to NIS and say, okay, can you tell me if my employer paid over my deductions from my pay? You won't be able to do that because you have no evidence. Once you are in a relationship between an employer and employee, it's a legal one and you have to have evidence. And the attorneys will tell you that. So the homework for this week is to set out a family member, seek out a family member or friend who has an annuity payment benefit from NIS, Superannuation Funds or retirement schemes. Discuss with him or her the annuity option they selected, and then collect all your superannuation fund and retirement schemes for those of you who are in these plans, and also your statement, your pay slip, and file with your pay slips, because these plans pay a benefit in the event of disability, old age, and death. And if you don't have the pay slips, then what's the evidence that even your survivors can use? So the common guiding principle between annuities and building generational wealth is this, is that you have to understand that both annuities and building generational wealth address two phases in financial planning, the accumulation phase and the distribution phase. Each financial plan which is in your name or that of yourself or your spouse or family member must be done with the knowledge that it will be distributed upon the happening of the three life events: disability, old age, and death. You know, there was a story told, in fact, I actually got involved in it because the person called me, where this lady, her husband had passed and she was now left with all the bills, and he chose an annuity option which didn't leave her any benefit. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so it's very important that if you're married or if you're in a relationship, that you discuss these issues, because nothing is worse than having a funeral, and then when you go to the graveside, the survivor is really screaming out loud because they have no money, don't know what to do. So what is an annuity or pension? It's a sum of money payable yearly or at regular intervals. It's the right to receive an annuity. Again, when you enter annuity options, you've selected one. If you selected one that didn't allow a beneficiary the right to receive the continued annuity payments after your demise, they're not going to be able to get it. In fact, somebody else called me about that this week as well, where a surviving spouse just the other day, same thing they're going through. It's a contract or agreement providing for the payment of an annuity. And the reference is there from Merriam-Webster. And I also like this other definition, that annuity is a contract between you and an insurance company. So remember, it's only insurance companies who can issue annuities, in which you make a lump sum payment or a series of payments. And the series of payments is what you have like in NIS, superannuation funds, and retirement schemes, because all of them end up as an annuity one way or the other. And in return, receive regular disbursements beginning either immediately or at some point in the future. And that reference is from Investopedia. I brought back up the pay slip because I just wanted to visualize. Remember the vision? How Mark spoke so passionately about having a vision of what it is you want to see. So you have to have that vision about the pay slip. So your pay slip, the NIS, which is sometimes referred to as a pension plan, it's going to endow into an annuity as a result of disability, old age, and death. Superannuation funds, the same thing, gonna eventually go into an annuity in the event of disability, old age, and death. Retirement schemes, same thing. But you have other plans like NHT, in the interest of time, I'm going a little faster, which pays a lump sum at a 7-year refunds or at age 65. You can use that to purchase an annuity, whether it's a Jamaican dollar or US dollar annuity. Life insurance premiums, there's tax-free savings plan, but they also provide for a lump sum, which can be used to purchase an annuity. Years ago, I don't know if it is still done, when persons were writing out, when I first joined the business in 1985, when persons were filling out their application forms, they could choose that the payment is done in the form of an annuity. I haven't seen it recently because I focus more on retirement savings plans, but if anybody can tell me if it's still there as an option, you can let me know. So it's very important to see how all of this links back to your payslip. So as you would observe, the first 3 items, NIS, Superannuation Funds and Retirement Schemes, on your payslip, that the contributions are tax deductible and tax deferred plans, which pay a benefit in the form of an annuity. Conditions apply in order to qualify for an annuity or pension. Yes, remember that. And I spoke about that before. So the key takeaways here is that annuities are insurance contracts that promise to pay you regular income either immediately or in the future. You can buy an annuity with a lump sum or a series of payments, and we spoke about that. The income you receive from an annuity is subject to tax. Now, a lot of retirees don't do annual tax returns, and as a result of that, upon their demise, their estate ends up in a lot of problems because the government has to get its tax. And as I said in this statement here, does somebody want to say something? No? The income you receive from an annuity is subject to tax at regular income tax rates after the applicable threshold. And we spoke about that. And the words in green are really my words in there to make sure you understand how this Investopedia definition applies to Jamaica. A lot of times we read a lot of the stuff on the internet, but we don't have the background and knowledge to bring it back into how it applies to Jamaica. And I think I'm going to talk about it a little bit later on, but I'll bring it up now. The threshold between 55 to 64 is very different from 65 until you die. So you need to understand those, you understand the reason for doing your annual tax returns. State benefits, NIS, and we talked about that, pays a lump sum, and NHT, so you can use to buy an annuity. It takes 40 years, contributory years, for maximum annuity benefit from the NIS and say NHT. And also from superannuation funds and retirement schemes, the law says it's 37.5 years to get 75%. Now, the nice thing about the superannuation funds and retirement schemes and NIS is that if you paid in for a longer period of time, what you can actually do is you can actually use those extra payments to either take it as a lump sum and pay tax on it, which I do never recommend to my clients, or you can take the additional sum and ask the insurance company to use the additional sum to increase your pension payments every year, at least for 10 years. Now, why is that important? When I came to Jamaica in 1981, a patty was 60 cents. Today, a patty is $200. So can you imagine if I had gotten a pension then and wasn't getting an increase in my pension, then what would happen? I couldn't buy a patty today. So it's very important to understand that income in retirement and building generational wealth also needs to look at indexation features. So remember, you can either purchase an annuity or qualify for it from an NIS, ASF, or ARS because it's part of the contractual benefits as a contributor to the plan, or you can take a lump sum or capital sum from a bona fide source. And the reason I bring this up as well, because there are FATCA rules. You have to give evidence as to where you are getting the money from to buy that annuity. Have to do that. So what are the other annuity options? I'm trying to go as fast as possible, as you can hear. Straight life is one of them. Guaranteed period, 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, or any other options offered by the insurance company. Installment refund, I found this to be very useful as a single widow person. I never said that before, I'm saying it now. That in having my annuity options, because I don't have a spouse who is to benefit and to pay any expenses, I chose installment refund. So if I died within 10 years I think it is, of the annuity, then my children could get the lump sum. Again, ask questions when you're going to get an annuity. Joint life and survival, this is good for married couples. It really saves the problems of having to wonder if the survivor will have any income after your demise. Now, the thing with joint life and survivor is that you can, if you're married, you can go for a guaranteed period when any one of the other options. But remember that if you go for any other option beside a joint life, then you may need to buy a life insurance policy on your life, which would be paid out to the survivor so they can use the benefits from that to buy an annuity. NIS payments are in Jamaican dollars, superannuation funds and retirement schemes are in GA dollars, and US index payable in Jamaican dollars. So you can ask for US index annuity, but you have to ask for it. Or you have, when you get the annuity options document, you have to be able to read it and understand what it is. So that's why I usually recommend you should get advice from a licensed insurance agent before you select the annuity option. US dollar annuities, capital sum must be paid to the company in US. And at this point, I will hand over to Lynette, the esteemed Lynette.
The esteemed Lynette. Thank you so much, Magda. So much information has already been given to you. I just want to ask if anyone has any questions. We can take them at this point. So far on annuities. Oh, Lord. No? Okay. All right. So you have your, at retirement, or you might find yourself with a lump sum of money and you don't want to lose it all in one day. So you decide that you want to buy an annuity because someone was good enough to tell you about it, right? So you know that there are Jamaican annuities, but you might want to have a difference. You might say, no, I want to have my money in US dollars because as the Jamaican dollar devalues, your income from that will be in US dollars, and you can actually buy more with your money at that time. So
yes. Can I make a statement there?
Yes.
Can I make a statement there, Lynette? Because a lot of people don't realize as well that a lot of the people who win the lottery and stuff like that become poor almost very soon after. And there's a lot of research on that, because they don't realize that the first thing they should do when they win or get any lump sum of money is to really ensure that there's income put aside. And an annuity, whether US or Jamaican dollars, can
provide that.
You will provide that, and people don't realize that. I see there's a question up, so I can buy an annuity from insurance company, expound, so that, go on, explain that, Lynette.
Okay, so annuities are only sold by insurance companies. So you cannot get it from your local bank, or you cannot get it from an investment house. This is a legal document, a legal contract between you and an insurance company, because in fact, the insurance company is saying that we are undertaking to pay you this set amount of income for the rest of your life. It's not something that you can outlive. All right. And in Jamaica, I'm part of a team of about 12 persons who are licensed to sell US dollar annuities in Jamaica, and we are regulated and licensed by the Financial Services Commission. All right. So a payment in US provides the opportunity for indexation when US income is received and converted to Jamaican dollars. Now, why would we choose a US dollar? Back in 1987, we can see how much $1 million Jamaican dollars would have gotten us in terms of US, $250,000. Today, May 2020, 1 million Jamaican can only give us $6,900. Who would have thought that this would have been the case, you know? So it does tell you there that there is power in that dollar. Now, how do you select an annuity option? I really and truly would like to say that you need to assess who is financially dependent on you for a guaranteed lifetime income following your death, because that will actually help you to determine which annuity option you seek. Whereas you might find a straight life annuity, it pays the highest, but a beneficiary may not be able to get any further payments after you have died. Magda, you were going to share a story about this?
Yes. Again, I think I touched on it a little bit before, but I'll touch on it again. And that is that you really shouldn't buy a straight life annuity. I don't recommend it unless you are the last surviving person in your family and there's nobody else. But if you want, if you have a problem, you can also, my name is Magdalena Kupoti News. You can name me as a beneficiary and choose one of the other options.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I was not giving you a plug there, Magda.
So,
but you know, that's why it's...
Do you remember we said earlier on that you have to have a moment of laughter? So that's another moment of laughter.
Yes.
So,
indeed.
Very important. And in fact, and I don't know if it's applicable in Jamaica, what I see happening on the global market, especially the US, is that in the US, you can buy an annuity, and if you are the last survivor, you can name a charitable organization to continue to get the payments after you have died. But I don't see that happening a lot in Jamaica, and it's something which I think I need to research on. If anybody else who is part of the group here now wants to tell us if it's possible, they can let us know. But I haven't seen any legislation that allows for that. But it's very, very important that we understand our situation, know our monthly income at the time when we're choosing an annuity, try to get the income and have it indexed so that you can keep pace with inflation in terms of the goods and services you're going to need.
Right. And so important that you said that, because understanding what your role and responsibility is in this family dynamic relationship is important to providing a guaranteed income for this income dependent family or relative. If it's a joint and survivor type annuity, once one spouse passes, the same income is paid to the other spouse for the remainder of the term of the annuity. So remember,
can I make a comment there? We must remember that when you're looking at joint and survivor, it is based on the survivor either getting 50% of what you were getting as the annuitant or 100%. So be sure that you ask that question if you're choosing joint and survivor. So don't just take joint and survivor. Oh, my wife, no. You need to make sure you're going to ask as well, is this based on a 50% of whatever I'm getting, or is this based on 100%? Because the cost for doing such an annuity is very different from the other ones. So go ahead.
That's important. In my experience, though, it has been 100% of what the other spouse, the first spouse would be able to get.
Yes.
So just to remember that a ship is designed to take you to places. It's a friendship, a partnership, a companionship, or a relationship. If it's not taking you anywhere, let us try and apply some love principles before we abandon such a ship. And we know that 1 + 1 is not equal to 2, it's equal to a relationship if we go back to creation. And that also will help us with providing infinite wealth.
Well said, Lynette. I have a question.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Back to the joint annuity, right? Joint survivorship.
Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking that when the primary annuitant dies, the surviving annuitant, the survivor, would be paid this annuity until they die also.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Earl.
All right. It's not, all right, great. I just wanted to confirm that, you know?
All right, yes.
Yes.
This is a very exciting relationship that you speak of. And I believe that this is something that everybody is. I'm now thinking very seriously of getting myself an annuity.
Wow.
You're now rethinking your relationships. All right, so some principles to guide the management of your annuity is to know when to claim for it. With NIS, this must be claimed within 3 years.
Lynette, can we ask for an extension in time because we're now 3 minutes away from 6:30?
Yes, folks, we're 3 minutes away from 6:30, and we have a few, can we have a few more minutes of your time today? If that is so, please put a thumbs up. Otherwise, I race towards 6:30. So as I was saying, we should know when to claim. Our NIS in Jamaica, you need to be claimed that within 3 years following the due date. All right. The income tax received in Jamaica is, of course, subject to tax, and you should know the threshold that you fall within so that that will help you to prepare your annual income tax. Time is money, remember. And so this provides a guaranteed income for you and your family or your named dependent. But to know the time to collect the claims and your benefits is important. So remember to also apply the budget guide to each of your monthly annuity payments. Remember, this will now become your guaranteed source of income. The first of every month, this money will be deposited into your account. So you need to, you know, just have an idea of how you will budget this so that it lasts you, or so that you know it covers all your basic needs that will be met for that month. Anything you get outside of that, then you know you can do as you will with it. Create your pay slip, because you will also need it for your annual income tax returns. So you see, we never get rid of doing paperwork. So our pay slip and our budget guide is important. Now remember that the annuity income payment is a legal one between you and the insurance company. Hence, it's important to know and to be aware of the laws which govern this, all right?
Yes, can you just stop 1 second? Somebody, M1, MIA2, Light is saying that they thought the survivor gets a stipulated number of years, not until death. That is not true. It depends on what it is, the option that you choose. If you choose a joint life and survivor, the survivor will get until death. But if you choose the guaranteed period, if you die, this is where I think your comment is. If you die within the guaranteed period, let's say you die, you choose a guaranteed period of, let's say, 10 years, and you die on the 8th year, then your survivor or your named beneficiary will only continue to get the payments until the end of the 10th year. So you don't mix up, if you don't mind me saying like this, I don't mean to be rude, the guaranteed period with the joint life and survivor. They are two separate, and they have two separate meanings in terms of the continuity of an income to a survivor. Yes? Okay, continue, Lynette.
Okay, if I may come in again.
Yes.
This is the news.
No, I am missing the news.
Miss the news.
Oh, Mrs.
All right,
So, yes.
Right, so I'm really not so clear now. As it relates to the joint survivor.
The joint, yes.
And the guarantee period you speak of. I was of the impression that the guarantee period relates only to beneficiaries.
All right, so let me explain.
Yeah.
If you choose an annuity period payout, for example, your lump sum, and you say, I want this annuity for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Yes, you will name a beneficiary. That could be your spouse, children, whoever. If you should pass away, let's say 10 years into this 20-year plan, the same amount will be paid to your beneficiary every month for the next 10 years.
Right.
Now, if it's a joint and survivorship annuity, if you pass, it's as though I am now your spouse is now the annuitant, and so that income is paid to that person for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Let me go back a little bit more onto that commenter's point as well. When you choose a guaranteed period, if the annuitant, which is the person who has bought the annuity, if that person dies after the guaranteed period, there is no money or income to take to the survivor. Nothing. But therefore, yes, go ahead.
And also, if you live beyond the 20-year guaranteed period, you are still paid an income.
Right. Very important point.
All right. So that's why they say you can never outlive this income as long as you have it.
And that is why, based on who you have as a beneficiary who depended on you financially, it's good to have the annuity and some life insurance to go with it, so that the life insurance can step in if you if you die before, long before the or after the guaranteed period has come about. So it's very important to understand, and that's why you need to sit down and with an advisor who can help you through these making the selection.
All right, wonderful. Do we have any more questions at this time or comments? Okay, let me get back to this.
Question.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you said this, but how does the selection you make, be it the guaranteed period or the joint and survival or the one with the increase, did you speak to how this affects the amount that you get monthly or whenever initially? How does this affect it? Which one has the biggest impact on your present series of payments that you get earliest?
Very good question. I hope you don't mind me making this comment, Lynette, to start off with, to answer that question. Mary, great question. When you get your annuity options document, because you are either buying it, you haven't retired yet, or you've got retirement, disability, old age, and death, and you're going to buy it. What you'll get is a document stating all of these options. Some companies will give you a document, an annuity options document, which states that these options are either based on you taking the amount stated in the quotation, and it stays like that until you die, or it says you can choose the option which also provides for indexation, usually US dollar indexation. Not all life insurance companies in Jamaica are offering the indexation. And I don't want to be biased and call the name of one, but if you call me privately, I'll tell you. Right? But you need to be able to read that document and understand and therefore make your selection. So for the Jamaican dollar type annuities, you have these two categories. You have the straight life, the guaranteed period, the joint life and survival, and whatever other options, but make sure that you also look to see, should I select one that has the index, or should I select one because I'm getting a lot of money now, let me just keep this one because we're lasting? No. Because as I said before, the issue you have in Jamaica is that prices change overnight. You go to bed, can somebody turn off their mic, please? You go to bed tonight and sugar is 5 cents. You wake up tomorrow morning and it's $2. And I've lived that. So you've got to take the indexation feature. It's highly recommended. That's what I should say. If you look at the slide that Lynette showed when she started up with the exchange rate, what did you say, Lynette? In 1980 something, $1 million?
1987, $1 million could get us 250,000 US dollars.
Okay, what's
today?
It today?
6,900.
Okay, so it's very, very important that when you're looking at annuities payable from Jamaican plans like NIS, well, NIS won't give you a US dollar income index benefit. What they'll do is give you an increase every year on your pension. But for the insurance companies, make sure that there is the option to either take the benefit in Jamaican dollars as it is in the quote, or there's an option to also index, and it's usually indexed to US dollar. So whenever the US dollar changes in the exchange rate, it changes as well. The amount you get is changed. And I have one of those, and I can tell you, I give God thanks I chose one of those, because I have another one from a superannuation fund, which is not indexed. And let me tell you, it is hard work to get the trustees to agree on giving an increase in your pension income. So you stay there and you linger and you linger and you linger, and you hope that one of the trustees will retire to see what you are going through. So they'll give an increase. So when you don't take the indexation, especially from a superannuation fund or even a retirement scheme, you are at the mercy of the trustees to increase that pension for you. You don't want that. You really want to be able to have an income that will keep pace with inflation based on the devaluation. Mary, does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm good with that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Lynette.
All right, guys. So there are 8 key points that I would like you to take away from talking about annuities. All right, in our wealth building plan, there are 2 phases, the accumulation phase and the distribution phase. The annuities come in the distribution phase. Now, these are insurance contracts that promise to pay you a regular income, either immediately or at some time in the future. And you can purchase in both Jamaican and US contracts. Now, this is an income that you will get for the rest of your life. So know the law which governs your annuity payments, and you can buy one with a lump sum, as in all your monies at once, buying an annuity, or through a series of payments, as in your NIS payments, or your Superannuation Fund, or your retirement scheme payments. So therefore, we said already, know the law which also governs survivor payment relationships, because that helps to decide or helps you to select which annuity payment option works best for you and your family.
Can I make a comment there? Sorry, can I make a comment there? Sorry about that. Relationships, especially in a marriage and a common law. I remember there was a case where this lady's husband died. He died soon after she had their first child. He was coming down one of the roads here in Kingston, crashed and died. And if I'm not mistaken, you all can go check it out. You know, I usually tell everybody, I talk a lot on these programs, but you can go and check out what I'm asking you. And if I'm not mistaken, because the marriage at the time was not for 5 or more years based on Jamaican law, there was not a widow's pension benefit paid out from NIS. So there are lots of nuances in the law, which I don't think, and you all can correct me, those of you who are on the program today, you can correct me. There are lots of nuances which I don't think we have addressed. In my opinion, whether you're married 1 day, 24 days, or 3 months, or whatever, if you are the spouse of the surviving person, you should be able to get an annuity payment from NIS. But I guess the thinking there in NIS is that you haven't made enough contributions, you don't have a relationship long enough. And there's another situation where the couple was married for more than 5 years and they separated. And because they separated after 5 years, not before 5 years, the assets, the property and so on was able to split. If the marriage had separated before 5 years, so when you're getting married, you need to know these things, right? If they're separated before 5 years, you know, you cannot claim nothing. So I'm not saying that to go into marriage for money and then you leave it after 5 years. I'm not saying that. So don't go and tell anybody Magda say that at all. What I'm saying is, in all relationships, there are rules and laws which govern it. So you need to understand what it is. Over back to you, Lynette.
All right, so remember to keep your pay slips, and you can enter this information in your budget guide spreadsheet, and to use all of these as well, your annuity income pay slips, to verify your retirement income, which you will use for your annual income tax. Well, we had said 8, but clearly there's a 9th one. The income you receive from an annuity is subject to income tax, of course, to the threshold that is applicable to you.
Can I say something there? The 9th one is really broader. Lynette?
Yes.
The 9th one is broader. That's what
it's the broader.
It's the broader, yes.
All right, over to you, Mark.
All right,
or
guys.
Magda. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Nice
it's been my plum pleasing pleasure to share with you this information tonight. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring my my PowerPoint up. Where are we? All right. So
We had homework, yeah.
we are at homework. So ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you enjoyed all the information you just received. I know you've been taking lots of copious notes. If you're like me, you would have been taking lots upon lots upon lots of notes. I take notes every single day, no matter what it is, no matter if I've heard it a million times, because every time I hear it, I learn something new. And I'm over here just dying and smiling because I'm thinking to myself, why is it that we've never had something like this before, right? This is so much fantastic information, so much information. You see, you have Magdalena Cooper, the news. Right? She's a giant on in the retirement industry. She has a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information. I've been under her wing, being mentored by her for numbers of years right now. And I can tell you this, she has so much information. We will be here until tomorrow, right? So we want to thank you guys for being on the webinar for this period of time. And we're going to just ask you, take some notes of this homework. We're going to ask you to do some activities. If you don't currently receive an annuity, check your approved superannuation fund or approved retirement scheme annual statements to see your accumulated annuity sum. All right, guys? And keep it simple, right? Check your statements to ensure that there were no errors. And keep your focus. Focus, write this down. Focus stands for follow one course until success. Just make sure you get this thing done. Now, we're going to be talking next time, week 4, Thursday, the 4th of June, 2020, on topics of preparing your personal and family generational wealth plan, the law and your written generational wealth plan, and how to communicate your generational wealth plan to your family. All right? Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is actually right now. So invite your family and friends to join you next week for our final Zoom webinar, Thursday the 4th, June 2020 at 5:30. Guys, I really don't want this series to end. I think we should come up with a whole brand new webinar with another couple of weeks. What do you guys say? Put a 222 in the chat if you want to hear some more information from us as it relates to building generational wealth. Guys, building generational wealth is key, and it's going to take love. And we just want to collectively say thank you for your attendance. And as I kept on hearing the word ships, 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 I know you guys can appreciate and would have heard that, the wind blows on us all, but your destination is determined by set of your sail. All right. So we've shared some ideas with you tonight. Miles Monroe said it best. He said, poor people always seem to go after a lot of money, right? Rich people actually go after a lot of things. They buy a lot of things, but wealthy individuals, they pursue ideas, right? Ideas is what brings you the wealth. And I can tell you, we've shared a lot of ideas with you tonight. Ideas are actually a dime a dozen. Those who take them and run are worth a fortune. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to just say to you, we'll see you at the top, but not from the top, because the bottom is absolutely way too crowded. Guys, we'll see you at the bank. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead back to YouTube, like the channel, share the channel, drop your comments, and just leave some ideas for other people from this webinar there so other people can benefit and start to grow their generational wealth. Thank you guys for being on the call. Thank you for staying with us, and good night. God bless.
Yeah.